Hello, Capricorn, and welcome to Indigo Rising Tarot. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope you're having a great day. This will be your weekly reading for the week of October 19th through the 25th. And during that time, we'll have several moon phases. We'll have first the waning crescent moon. And of course, that's a time of surrender, rest, and healing, a time to fully just let go and rest and try to get yourself mentally ready for the next new cycle, which begins on the new moon, which is the 21st and the 22nd, somewhere in there, and that energy can go on there for a couple of days. So, of course, the new moon is a good time for fresh starts, new beginnings, good time to start new projects, think new thoughts, have just a really good change of attitude and try new things. And then we have the waxing crescent, which is just a time of kind of heightened energy and senses when you can really focus and buckle down on those new things. So please keep those moon energies in mind as we move through the week. This will be an intuitive general reading for energies that you may or may not encounter, Capricorn. So as always, please take what resonates and leave what doesn't on the table for someone else. And your overall message for this reading: a new romantic cycle begins. All right, let's see what the Capricorn Collective has going on this week. As I'm shuffling the tarot, I would like to say that my fun weekly reminder this week is that you notice the world around you when it comes to synchronicities. So this might be animals that get in your path that you don't normally see. This could be repeating numbers or number patterns. This could be songs, overheard conversations, even just down to little signs. Sometimes I see a bumper sticker that gets in front of me and I'm like, well, that's weird. I have several stories about bumper stickers and where they've led me. One was about acquiring a dog. I'll just mention this very briefly. We had lost a pet and we weren't ready to have a new pet yet. I don't know why I'm telling you the story. Apparently somebody needs to hear it, but in a roundabout way, all of a sudden we were driving by the road that turned to the shelter, and there was a bumper sticker, and I think it said puppies, and it had a question mark, something like that. And I told my husband, I was like, oh, now let's turn and go to the shelter. And sure as shooting, we came home with the dog that day. So that's what I mean by kind of just following the signs of the universe. Those are your little clues and breadcrumbs. And just pay attention to those synchronicities, because sometimes they can be very life-changing, like that one was, because that dog was life-changing. So anyway, I'm rambling a lot, Capricorn. My apologies, but apparently, like I said, someone must have needed to hear that story. So pay attention to those synchronistic things that happen. All right, Capricorn, October 19th through the 25th, a new romantic cycle begins. Let's see what you guys have going on. And there we go. We are ready to go. Your overall present energy. Well, look at that, coming together with the Two of Cups. So maybe you are you've just met someone or you're about to meet someone, but it looks like there is some sort of coming together. Typically this is a card of, just friendship, but certainly about meeting. There is a male and female on the card here. So it's about just coming together and at least having the open cup, being open enough to, to be able to see each other and greet each other and maybe start spending some time together. So that's very interesting. For those of you that are single and coming together in that manner, that's great. That's what that means. If you're already in a relationship, sometimes a new romantic cycle just means you're coming together in a new way, with fresh eyes, fresh attitude. If you've been together for a while, things can get stale, and sometimes you just kind of, there's like just a resurgence of a romantic cycle. So keep that in mind too if you're already in a relationship. So your current situation is, you're in this kind of give and receive mode. You can answer where you are right now, but this is, I just see this as with two people, there is giving and receiving. And that's a great card for that. It could be, it is a card of pentacles, but it doesn't have to mean that you're giving and receiving money or coins back and forth, but it could be material things. It could be that, maybe you're in the giving mode and you do give, someone that you're dating or in a relationship or married to, you give them a gift, maybe unprompted. It doesn't have to be, for any special occasion, or maybe it is, or you're in receiving mode. Same thing. Be open to both of those. At the root of this situation is some sort of ending. So, you might be to where you might have had a conversation. Well, first, in different situations, you might have just come to the end of a relationship, and that's why you're meeting someone new. Again, if you're already in a relationship, it could be that you're just kind of an end of a cycle, that and where you feel like you do need to kind of either renew vows or renew the relationship parameters. Maybe you're making changes. You could be read a book together about relationships and how to enhance things. So that's at the root of your situation, is some sort of push through to end one thing. And of course, endings come with beginnings. So in your recent past is a little bit of a celebration here with more cups, in the Three of Cups. And this could be that, perhaps you've come out of some celebratory period, or you might have just been at a party recently that prompted. It could be the party where you met this new person. It could be a party where you were prompted to, maybe you went to a wedding and it made you think, wow, we need to kind of up our romantic game in our relationship or our marriage. So, but does look like that was some sort of precursor or prompting for what you're feeling right now or what you're going through right now. What's on your mind this week is, of course, the Ace of Cups. This is why I love tarot. So, of course, the Ace of Cups is about having an open and overflowing heart and just really being open to love and giving and receiving. So that's very, very beautiful there, that's on your mind this week. Very sweet. Love that. What is just ahead of you this week? Okay, there's a little bit of debate here with the Five of Wands. Is it with this person? Maybe, maybe not. Is it with other people about this situation? Maybe, maybe not. It could be related or unrelated. But remember that, fives are where they're typically about conflict. It doesn't have to be extreme conflict. Wands can be just about competition or, again, about debate. And that just might be something that's ahead of you this week. And maybe you learn something about your partner through that, maybe you stand on the same footing on a topic, or maybe you're learning that you're a little polarized on something. So, and that's okay either way. Just because you're in a relationship doesn't mean that you are constantly going to think the same way or have the same thoughts and ideas. In fact, that's what makes for fun debate and conversation with each other, which might be what that is also. In your advice position is the Moon card. So this is our card of mystery and things that that are kind of under the surface, under the darkness, things that and you're not quite sure why. This is your intuition. This could be something that comes to you in a dream. And I feel like because it's in your advice position, is do pay attention to that. Like I was talking about before, pay attention to synchronicities and things like that in the universe, little signs and symbols, but also your own intuition and your own dream life. If you're keeping a spiritual journal, that's a good time to write those things down, those synchronicities that you're having, or thoughts and feelings, and maybe even dreams that seem significant to you. So, but that's in your advice is to do just that this week, to pay attention to those things and what signs the universe is sending you. And it could have, again, some sort of relation to your relationship. It could, there might be a thing out there that tells you to purchase a gift, or kind of guide you into, here's the gift, here's the perfect thing for your partner. Here's the gift that you need to get them. Those synchronicities, kind of guide us in those special ways that sometimes we're not even sure why. I'm not sure why I bought you this book, but something told me to do it. Something, that's that intuition. So pay attention to that this week when it comes to this. What is beyond your control this week is the High Priestess, which I love seeing this card by the moon, because this is just like the magnifier of this energy. To me, they're very much related, very much the same. They're both cards of mystery, and they're both cards about using your intuition, things being under the cover, of night, listening to your dreams, watching those synchronicities, looking for those breadcrumbs. So, beyond that is beyond your control this week. So I think there's really something that is out there for you in the way of synchronicity or intuition this week. So really pay attention to those things. And if you're comfortable sharing, if something comes to you, of course, drop me a message in the comments down below. I'd love to hear what that is, what's coming to the Capricorn Collective intuitively this week. What is your secret desire, or what you're trying to avoid, is the Four of Swords here. So rest and meditation and really thinking things through is typically, when you get to be in this rest and meditation mode. So is that something that you want to do, or are you trying to avoid that? That'll be a big question for you. And why? Why are you trying to avoid? Rest and meditation is really about going within, and that's also really goes along with these cards of intuition, because that's a lot of times when those things will come to us is when we've just quieted our mind and we're being very still. There might be some intuitive things to come up. So maybe you're trying to avoid that. Maybe there's things that you're not enjoying that you're picking up on that are, maybe little warning signs, or it could be that it is your secret desire to do that and really accept those messages. So that'll be your big question this week. In your outcome position is the Magician. So here's the Magician asking you how you would like to move forward. And if this is a romantic cycle, do you want to move forward with a gift? The gift, something in the pentacle realm. Is it with this love, with this Ace of Cups? Is it something with communication or thoughts that you would like to share? Or, with the swords, or is it something passionate, something fiery? So I love that the Magician is at the end of this reading, kind of asking you how you want to proceed when it comes to this romantic cycle. So again, this will template over for different people in a different way. For some of you, you're meeting someone new, which is awesome. For some of you, you're in the early stages of a relationship and you're just learning new things. And how would you like to proceed there? For some of you, you've been in a relationship for a much longer time. And also, how would you like to proceed? Would you like to, get in deeper, in an emotional way with your partner, in a fiery, passionate way? Is that do you need to express words, like I said, in the way of swords? Or is it just about getting your partner a gift? There's many, many ways to play off of this romantic cycle. What is hidden from you this week? Oh, it's my favorite place for this card. So the devil is at the bottom of this deck, hidden from you, which I love because we don't need that energy at all. We don't need that devil on your shoulder messing with your confidence. So that's just not appearing. That's hidden from you, which again, that's my favorite place for this card to be. Excuse me just a second while I cough. Still trying to get over the seasonal change cold that I've had. Probably need some hot tea tonight. So let's see what the Soul Oracle deck has to say for a final message for this reading. Capricorn, October 19th through 25th, as they're in this new romantic cycle. Accept disappointments gracefully. All right, so if there is something that you are disappointed about, and it could have something to do maybe with this Five of Wands, some sort of debate or conversation that comes up, if it's something that you learn, accept it gracefully. Like I said, we don't always have to all agree on every little thing. In fact, that would be kind of boring if we did. So at least we have, that ability to have conversations and debates and learn about each other, which is actually, I find fascinating. It's very interesting. Oh, I didn't know you felt that way. Tell me more. How did you arrive there? Right. I mean, my husband and I have been married for 30 something years at this point, and we still have different things that we see very differently. And we love having I love having those conversations. I think he does too, about things that we do disagree on. All right, let's see what you need to do in the way of self-care. Self-care for Capricorn this week. And the card that comes up for you is the card that says energy. Stop trying to please everyone. Everyone is a whole lot of people. Protect your energy. That could also relate to this card too. Sometimes you just kind of have to be who you are, agree to disagree. You can't please everybody. That's very true. But if you have a way that you're feeling about a particular thing or a person, really, hold your ground, and that's it. You don't have to really debate or argue. Just we can agree to disagree. So Capricorn, I wish you the best of luck with this information here. I hope that you have a great week, and that there is something with this new romantic cycle, that you can take, something you can take here and use. Make sure you're paying attention to your intuition this week. I do think that's very important. Get that rest and meditation, and especially during that waning crescent phase of our moon at the beginning of the week. It's just a really good time for rest and healing and to let go, so that these new beginnings, and like here's the Magician asking you, about your new beginning and how you would like to move forward, So make sure you take some time to think about your relationship in that aspect and think, if I wanted to improve something, what would it be? Would it be how I express love? Would it be, that exchange of gifts? Would it be communicating, or would it be passion? It's always a good time to kind of check in with yourself and your partner on those things. Where are we, and is everybody on the same page, and are we all doing well? So anyway, thank you so much for being here. If you like my reading style, of course, please hit the like and subscribe button. It really helps my channel, but more importantly, it'll help you find me next week, where you can come back and we can see if this energy continues or if there's something completely new here for you. So once again, Capricorn, thank you, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.